Welcome to Scoop World Order. It is Tuesday. It's bye-week Tuesday. The coaches are out on the road, so we're going to bring in our recruiting expert, Bill Greene, to talk a little bit about what these guys can get done coming off of a huge win against Notre Dame as they begin to prep for Maryland. They'll get a couple practices in this week, cut the kids loose probably on Friday. A lot of these kids can fly home. The kids from out of state. Go check out the high school games. Have a good time. It's always great to have a bye week, especially after a big night road win. Kind of the toast of the town. They got a nice game against Maryland. The schedule's set up pretty good. So we're going to get into that. And we're going to get into our issues with recruiting offensive tackles. As always, the talk of the town on BuckeyeScoop.com. But with that being said, as always, we appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoy this content, please click like, click subscribe, and also click the little alert bell. Shout out where you guys are watching from. And let me know, what would you change for us to get more tackles in the fold? And I'm going to bring in my favorite offensive tackle prognosticator in the world, Mr. Bill the Bank Greene. Bill, how are you tonight?
Doing well, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. So DeJuan Jones is playing fantastic football. Paris Johnson is playing fantastic football.
Excellent.
Nick Petit-Frere, if he didn't have a parlay, would be starting for the Titans. Our boy Thayer is the third tackle, and he probably should be starting for the Raiders because they're awful on the offensive line. But we can't seem to land a big-time national tackle. Brandon Baker commits to Texas. Jordan Seaton likely isn't coming here. Gerby Lambert goes to Notre Dame. What is going on? Like, it's weird to me because I think that, fresh off of Paris being 6 overall in the draft after being a 3 and he's their dream, 3 and out, first round pick, 6 overall, starts in the league. DeJuan Jones, 4 and out, a redshirt junior, declares early. Probably should have been a first round pick, but really messed up the process. And now starting for the Browns, playing great football. What is going on? What needs to change? Can anything change? Or is this just kind of how it's going to be?
Well, I mean, if you ask Ryan Day and off the record with truth serum pumped in his veins, he would tell you that he did change things. He changed his coach, got rid of Greg Studrawa and brought in Justin Fry. So that was the change. Okay. So is it working? I mean, last year's class was okay. A lot of Ohio kids. And then this year's class, again, a lot of Ohio kids. I do like Ian Moore a lot. I have to say that. He's good. But, man, I thought they were getting Brandon Baker, so what do I know? And I think Ohio State thought they were getting Brandon Baker until the last 2 to 3 weeks when the Texas rumbling started. This was not Texas in this game until recently. It was an Oregon versus Ohio State battle. His brother played at Oregon. Very familiar with the program. Dan Lanning's got it going up there. But I still think Ohio State was going to win that battle. That OSU-Oregon battle was going to Ohio State. I felt very confident of that. Then you start hearing Texas stuff. And that Texas stuff didn't start till recently. So was it NIL? I don't know. That kind of blindsided me because all along I thought it was really OSU-Oregon, and OSU was going to win that battle. So, I don't know. I mean, it really doesn't make sense because for Brandon Baker to look at the Ohio State program, I don't know that he would start next year. He's going to play next year. If he comes to Ohio State, he's on the field next year and then starts the year after. And, maybe he takes that Paris route. He could be a 3 and out guy. He's really good. Brandon Baker's the best O-lineman in the country. And Fry has a prior relationship with him when Fry was on the West Coast. So it's not like the kid's coming to Ohio blind and doesn't know anything. No, he and Fry have a relationship. So I wish I could give you a better answer than I don't know. But I don't know. I think Ohio State wins the OSU-Oregon battle. But then Texas, the easy thing to do is to blame NIL. That's what everybody does when they don't get someone. And I haven't been told that. So if I was OSU, I would have emptied the NIL bucket for Brandon Baker. I'd give back J.J. Smith. J.J.'s amazing, but you need that foundation on that O-line. Okay?
No.
You had the best receivers in the country on the field the other day, and Ohio State scored 17. They had Wilson Olave, Jackson Smith, and Jigby on the field for a while, and you couldn't even win the Big Ten East. You need linemen. Okay? And this guy's a stud. So I don't know. You know what I mean? I wish I had a better answer. And I think Ryan Day's answer would be, what change would I make? I made a change. I changed stud, and I brought in Justin Fry. So, I'm at a loss, and I think Ryan Day's probably at a loss as well right now. And Ohio State's playing well. You're going to play in big games. You're going to win big games. You're going to get on the field soon. I don't know what's missing. What's Texas won lately? When's their last playoff appearance? Vince Young?
Oh.
So yeah. I don't get it. I don't know. I don't get it. I knew Ohio State was beating out Oregon. I don't know why they didn't beat out Texas. I don't know. So I can dig a little deeper and see if I can come up with a better answer, but I got nothing right now.
Do you think it's geography? Because again, I don't know what it is. Because we had Nick Petit Frere, and he was a Tampa kid, a different kid. Donnie Jackson was a 5-star kid we got. Harry Miller was a 5-star kid that we got. Paris obviously is a kid from Cincinnati, so you assume you're going to get a kid from Cincinnati. Obviously, we didn't get Jackson Carman.
Now wait a minute. If you look at Stud had a laundry list. Zeke Correll and
Blake Miller.
There's a few that he didn't get. So you can say that, the Ohio kids are layups. They weren't layups for Stud. And maybe that contributed partially to Ryan Day's decision to let him go. I don't know. Now, right now, you can say, Justin Fry is landing every Ohio kid he wants. He's getting the Ohio kids, where Stud was, maybe 50-50 with these kids. So maybe he needs another year to develop relationships to get the national guys, but you're not going to – I don't think you can build the team Ohio State wants to build with just Ohio kids. I don't think you can do it.
Yeah, I think you're certainly at the mercy of Paris. You need like a 5-star Paris type kid to be around. And again, and there were good evaluations because, when you take Thayer and you take DeJuan, Dewan turned into a 5-star guy.
Man, I never saw that come,
Yeah. So, sometimes you just got to roll the dice because, they're not all going to be Paris and, Laramie Tunsil is the greatest prospect I've ever seen for offensive tackle because he, but you just don't you don't see many of those kids like Paris and Laramie. So, yeah, but it's just interesting because I just thought with the success of Paris and then the bonus success of DeJuan, who's a guy that a lot of people thought would be like a swing tackle, red shirt year kind of guy. Jack Conklin blows his knee out, and now he's out there against TJ Watt, and he doesn't give up a pressure, doesn't give up a sack. He's balling right now. And again, if he didn't botch the combine process and the pro day process, he's probably a first round pick. But now he's out there, he's got a chance to start at right tackle. The circumstances dictated that he's out there playing for a really good team in the Browns. And I don't know. It's perplexing to me because Gerby Lambert, he seemed like a Notre Dame kid, ends up being a Notre Dame kid.
He did.
Where do you think Jordan Seaton ends up?
Man, I don't know. He's wide open right now. I'm told he is a pure NIL guy, a 100% NIL guy. And I'm told maybe Florida State might have a leg up there. So we'll see. I can't sit here and tell you I think they're getting Jordan Seaton because I don't think they are. But, he hasn't committed to anyone yet. So take the Brandon Baker NIL money and shift it over, take the Gerby Lambert money, the Brandon Baker money, and give it to Jordan Seaton. Although, I don't know if you've watched Seaton's film. I'm not sure he's a pure tackle, where Brandon Baker was a plug-and-play left tackle. I'm not sure Jordan Seaton isn't better suited to play inside. But at this point, you got to go get that dude. You got to pull out all the stops.
Yeah.
Or keep recruiting Brandon Baker. Keep recruiting Brandon Baker. He's not signing anything for a while. Yeah.
See, I think with all these kids, you just keep recruiting them because anything can happen. Steve Sarkisian could get offered the Patriots job. Again, we saw with Chip Kelly, Dontre Wilson. It's just might as well keep calling him. There's nothing that can happen. He might go there. He might hate it. He might be in the portal in a year. That's why
you recruit him until he does not take your calls and he tells you leave me alone. Then at that point you're done. But till that happens, you got to keep recruiting that kid. He's that good.
Yeah.
He takes this class. If this class ends up being what it is right now, I think it's above average. Mm-hmm. You land him to this class, then it's way, way, way above average, and it's a heck of a class.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Now, there was
We
a
got
question.
we got a question. Super chat. Appreciate you, DW. What happened to Luke Hamilton and Ben Roebuck? Now you like
Neither of
Hamilton.
them were offered. Neither of
Yeah.
them were offered, and I liked Roebuck, but I'm going to tell you what, I don't think he's developed the way I thought he was going to develop. I saw him playing a state championship game a couple of years ago, and I thought this kid really had a chance to be special. And, you look at that O-line from St. Ed's with Roebuck and the Twins, and they play Massillon, and they had 31 rushes for 59 yards. So
Oof.
I don't think any of those kids have developed the way we all thought they were going to. Hamilton was a guy that I saw Hamilton at camp, and I think you did too.
Yep.
I think you were there that day, and it was okay. I didn't think he was anything special. I thought he was shorter than what he was listed at.
Mm-hmm.
I thought his arms were shorter than what he was listed at. I thought you could see he was an inside guy. When he was before we all got to see him, he was purported to be a tackle. Oh, and then when you saw him at Ohio State, it's like he doesn't have the feet, shorter arms, shorter in height. I saw an inside guy there. So.
And like, I didn't think he was anything special. And again, when you're Ohio State and and you're evaluating these kids, if you go on a kid and offer him, he's probably going to commit. So, I mean, you got to be real careful because you don't want to tick off these high school coaches and pull an offer and do the Danny Clark thing. And, so again, like people are like, why don't you offer Roebuck and Hamilton? I'm like, well, because you got to be really sure with Ohio kids because you can't go reneging and pulling that thing back. Because
no, not at a school like St. Ed's. You're going to do that to a St. Ed's kid. You already, when they did it to the Hoban kid, Danny Clark, man, that was. God, it was death at Hoban for a long time after you saw Chip train him. You got Chip train him now. You didn't get Chip train him out of high school.
No,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And they wanted Caden Clark before Caden ripped his knee out.
Yeah.
And Urban went to the school. Urban went to Hoban to try to soothe things over because he wanted Caden Clark. And Tim Terrell told me the story where he went to get Caden out of class and said, "Hey, Urban Meyer's here to see you." And Caden said, "You tell Urban to go blank himself."
Yeah.
And a funny sidelight to that is when Terrell came back and told Urban that, instead of Urban like being furious, like I'm going to kill that kid, I hate that. No, Urban's like, that's what he should say. He goes, I love that kid. I love his spirit. He goes, that's what he should say to me. He goes, I'm going to keep recruiting him. It just never went anywhere. And then Alabama, offered, he committed to Alabama. And then he had the horrible Nick Chubb type knee injury. But that's just a sidelight there. But that hurt them at Hoban. For a while. Now, it's only now that, they lost Nolan Rumler, who they wanted, Chip Trainham they wanted. I mean, that hurt them. When you pull an offer on an Ohio kid at a big-time school like that, like you said, you got to be careful before you start willy-nilly in these offers, and all of them take it. And then you've got a 6-man O-line class, and then Brandon Baker decides he wants in, and you don't have room for him, and you got to cut someone out of the class. Man, there's repercussions for that for 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's really a delicate balance.
And sometimes it's not just at that school because a lot of these coaches are tight, and if
buddies.
you screw one guy over and then the other guys start talking and they say, how could you do that? Because Danny, we knew Danny, we knew his father who passed away, I mean, that kid committed as a freshman, got the tattoo. He was all in. And then, what they did to him, I thought was wrong. And, again, I get you always try to improve, and Tate Martell's Gatorade Player of the Year and whatever, but, never lost a game in high school. But what they did to Danny was wrong, and they know that. Yeah. But, again, in college football.
Just take them both and let Danny get beat out and let him decide, this ain't working for me, man. I ain't never going to play here. I got to leave. Okay, But, man, to chop the kid from Hoban who was – Danny never developed the way they wanted him to develop.
Yeah.
But Danny was all in as an Ohio State recruiter, as an Ohio State kid.
Oh, yeah.
Loved the program, got the younger brother coming behind. It caused more damage chopping him loose than just keeping him and then working him. I mean, Danny did have skills.
Yeah.
He didn't develop the way we thought he would, but that was a big kid with a big arm. So what was the hurt in taking him and Martell? And then, you bring in Martell with Danny, maybe Danny decommits before, but you don't chop him. You don't chop that Hoban kid. I thought that was a mistake.
Yeah, and like with Danny, it's hard with a quarterback because most teams take one quarterback. So
Yeah.
once you pick your school, and those musical chairs start filling up, all of a sudden you're all the way down to Kentucky, where it's like if they cut him loose earlier, he can maybe look at Michigan or some other school. But once they have their quarterback, they've got their quarterback,
But see, they also schmoozed it with when they had Jack Miller. And then later in the year, they had a shot to grab C.J. Stroud. Well, they didn't cut Jack Miller. They didn't throw him out of the class. They just brought C.J. in, and it was pretty apparent to Jack Miller, like, I ain't beating that kid out. So Jack transferred to Florida.
Yeah.
They kind of recruited over him in the same class, but they didn't cut him from the class.
Yeah.
So
that kid goes to Florida. God bless him. Then AR-15 goes, and he's the third pick in the draft. So I mean, he got beat up by the second pick in the draft and the third pick in the draft, and then Graham Mertz shows up, and now he's the starter. So that's a tough go. So we're gonna get into Notre Dame real quick. You, too much fanfare, did pick the Irish to win. You're about 1 inch away from being correct. And again,
about half a yard.
Yeah, about half a yard. I mean,
I didn't want to be correct. It's just that I call it the way I see it, and when I'm wrong, I stand up like a man and take it. And that one there, I mean, I don't feel like it was such a horrible pick. When you got the lead with 1 second to go, you made a pretty good pick.
Yeah,
it's not my fault. It's not my fault. Marcus Freeman wants to play with 6 guys. I mean, it's instead
oh
of
my
11,
God. Was that the most obscene thing you've seen? Because it's really that was Al Washington. That was all on Al. So we're gonna go through this last little. So this is there. There's 7 seconds left in this game. So we're gonna go through the last little sequence here. So you got 7 seconds left. Coming out of a timeout to boot. Coming out of a timeout. So you got the Bucks on this sideline. Over here is here's I mean, these guys are all getting jazzed up, getting everybody ready to go. Get your guys.
Al was in the blue, I think. To the
left. That was Al in the blue. He's the heavier guy. So
this was hard here that Ryan is going to leave this game running 2 plays here. He didn't run the ball here. He couldn't stop the clock.
Yeah.
So I think he knew running the ball was the way to go, but he's going to throw it here. He's going to get 2 plays out of this.
Yeah.
So smart. The way Ryan Day did it, I thought was smart.
Yeah, but the thing I don't get is how does nobody get
run
this?
Somebody on.
Well, run somebody on, or how is someone not screaming that? Hey,
penalty.
I mean, even these kids. Yeah.
Run somebody on late. Stop it there. I mean, where was the penalty going to go? Half from the orange line to the white line.
Yeah,
half.
Right there.
Take the penalty. You can't play with 10.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Now, when this pass is incomplete. Now, don't you run somebody? Didn't you know there was 10 out there? Don't you run somebody on?
Well, that's the thing is they have too many assistant coaches just watching the game and not paying attention. So, and here's the thing. This is key, and I'm going to point this out real quick. This is Trey Henderson right here. So they're running their little sprint out pass where he's got the edge, right? So the thing that no one's talked about is the fact that you got Trey Henderson in right there. So I'm going to switch it as I get it teed up. Bill Greene, who carried the ball on the last play of the game, the very next play of the game?
Well, it was a sub. They subbed someone in, which Notre Dame could have done.
So the referee stands over the ball so that they can sub, so they can match subs. So again, they literally I mean, I don't know what Marcus has got again.
Know.
I want to no, they had no clue.
And then to Ryan Day's credit, Ohio State had to have known that. And they ran right into they ran left where Notre Dame was short. I mean, they were short and outmanned on the left side. And Ohio State still made it by an inch. I mean, it's not like the guy walked in the end zone, but I mean, that was one of the worst. Another sequence, we can do another day, or we'll be on until midnight. Do the sequence sometime of when Notre Dame has the ball and the lead, and they are running the ball down Ohio State's throat. Jack Sawyer and JTT played every single play on defense.
So,
those guys are gassed. Ty Leak, who's a big guy, big husky dude there. Ty Leak was in on every play but 9. So in the 2 series prior, Notre Dame went 75 yards easy. They ripped them. And they even got a first down on that last drive when they got the ball by running right at them.
So here with 26 seconds left, Trey's still in, and they're subbing him right now. So
Yeah,
literally,
nobody
it's
knows.
like nobody knows.
Nobody knows. They don't know over there on the other side. They do
Yeah.
not know.
So now
But
Chip's in, and I'm
well,
just
look, when
like,
they run left. Look how outmanned they are running left. It was Ryan Day. He knew what to do here.
well, it's
I
like,
mean,
but
they
I,
got right
but
to the outman
but
gap.
but like here's the thing, like, and this is not to, but I mean, like, there's no way that Ryan, and again, I know they run right at it, but like, there's no way that Ryan can predict that they're dumb enough to not
To do it again.
sub. Well, yeah,
And he
because like,
didn't. But somebody in the booth for Ohio State, and you used to be there, didn't you? Were you in
oh,
the booth?
I was up top, yeah, oh god,
Somebody
yeah,
out there said,
yeah.
they only have 10. They only have 10. And then someone said, they still only have 10. They still only have 10. You know, it's crazy. It's one of the worst.
I
I don't want to say, I know a lot of Ohio State people don't like Marcus Freeman. He made some comments.
he's my teammate. I mean, I texted Mark. Yeah, I texted Marcus over the summer.
I mean,
yeah,
I really like Marcus. I've known Marcus a long time. I really like him, and he's going to be a good coach. But there was coaching malpractice in that game. I mean,
the problem is like that's not Marcus's job.
No,
his job isn't to
absolutely
substitute the defensive line. You know, I mean,
somebody over the headset has to say, "We only have 10. We only have 10 out there." Ohio State throws the incomplete pass. When Ohio State's running train them on, you run your defensive end on or a D tackle.
Yeah, they literally stand over the ball so you can substitute. They stand over the ball.
They couldn't have. Now he came up with some cockamamie excuse like,
"Oh God,
yeah, it would have been a penalty of like a foot."
Yeah, and there's still no time left, but at least give your team a chance. You know,
I'd rather play with 11 from the half-yard line than play with 10 from the 1-yard line.
You have to.
Give me that extra body.
You
know what I mean? So it's just such a and a lot of it is not Marcus's fault, but then again, who sets up the system? That never happened to Urban. I mean, somebody has to know we're light. And you got away with it on third down. You got away with it. Well, you can't get away with it twice. I mean, it's such coaching malpractice. If that happened at Perry High School.
Oh God.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't happen at Perry High School, let alone Notre Dame, Ohio State, biggest game of the year. You've got the lead, you've got the game won, and you play with 10. I mean,
if Notre Dame's like Ohio State, they have like 50 coaches on their staff. They have like their top 10. Then they've got 30 GAs and QCs and Joe Philbin and Devin Jordan.
Doesn't each position coach know
every like the D-line coach, Al Washington, has a graduate assistant, and he usually has an intern too. And it's like usually the GA is up in the box, and then Al's down here because like it's like how you see Larry Johnson down on the sideline. You see Vrabel down. Whoever the D-line coach is usually down on the field, substituting guys in and out, running the hockey line changes. And again, what do you do? Like, do you not realize you don't have a defensive end of the game? And again, like my thing is like if I'm the
think Marcus is spinning it now.
Oh, he has to cover for Al Washington.
No, they did not know.
No,
because you wouldn't do it 2 downs in a row. On third down, if they realized it on third down late, and they thought, I don't want to run someone in right now, I would have taken the half-yard penalty, but they didn't. Then you got to get the guy out there for fourth down.
Yeah, well, the thing I don't get is if you're the starting defensive end, how are you not screaming at the coach? Coach, we don't have an end in. Like the backup's not in. I'm not in. Like because like if we broke the huddle and I'm the starter,
you wouldn't put a nickel in there. You wouldn't.
No, you're playing goal line. You're going 4 or 5 D line. Yeah, but
they were probably 2 D linemen short. Let alone one.
God.
I mean, it's just one of the most horrible. I can only imagine, if we were on a Notre Dame website, Sunday morning. I mean, those people have a right. Those people have a right to be really, really freaking mad.
Oh God! Oh my God!
You get beat with your dudes. You get beat. Look at that. Run left there. Look at what you're looking at to run left.
I mean, yeah, it's literally
It's
you put
over.
an end right
It's
there.
over.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I
it should
mean,
have gained more. I give the guy credit coming off the edge, kind of had a force, but this should have been a walk-in.
well, I mean, like
Somebody
that's the
got
amazing
beat
that.
on the right side. Somebody got beat on the right side.
No, well,
Whether
yeah.
it came off
I
the
mean,
edge
well,
or
I mean, well, for one, this is a terrible play because G. Scott needs to be up on the line of scrimmage. Like he can't be in this like
right.
wing thing. And even
And then
still,
why are you giving the ball to Tran at the 5-yard line when you're snapping it from the 1-yard line? Get under center and just smash that thing.
dude. I mean, if we
Look how
got
far Tran has to run. He's got to run 5 yards to get
dude,
a
just
happy.
run a sneak right there. We don't run the sneak ever, but it's just like, yeah. And the crazy thing is, with 10 guys, they still almost stop us.
They about stopped it. They just about the force guy.
Oh my god!
The other guy tried to fight through his block. I mean, for having 10 guys, they played it as well as you can play it.
Yeah, and like Chip, if Chip
looks like, did he almost fumble that? Is there a?
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely.
Is that a
that's the edge. Look, that's the end of the ball. Like he doesn't have that thing cuffed like you're supposed to.
I never noticed that before.
Oh yeah, I mean that's almost coming out the back door right there.
You two just about knocked it loose.
Like honestly, the thing that makes this whole thing is right here. He puts his foot in the turf and just. It's like all that weightlifting and all those squats, and it's like that little bit of strain to get over the line. Yeah. Because like, and he like planks to make his body straight. Because look, look at his knee. He stretches his knee so he can extend as far as possible. Because as soon as that knee hits, we're done. You know, if that knee's
10 or 15 years ago, they didn't do this because it was always called a touchdown. All they looked at was the ball. Right there, a touchdown, no problem. But then they started replay, and these kids watch TV all the time. Replay, man, they go right to the knee. Knee ball. That was a great play by Tatum. It's a 1-yard run. I get it. But I'm telling you what you said here, it's hard to do, too. It's athletic to do.
Well, like look at G. Like, he's trying to pick off Javonte Jean-Baptiste, who's right there. I mean, he's getting pancaked by our old buddy. And it's like, again, we have
great play by Tatum. It's a great play.
Well, and again, like we have two guys screaming off the edge here, and their end pinches. Because again, this isn't on G. Scott. This is a terrible alignment. I mean, if he's going to do this, he has to go right at the guy's ACL and cut him. You got to cut him. Just cut him. Cut him. Don't let him do this. Don't let him cross your face and put his helmet right in the gap.
I thought Javonte played a really good game. I don't know Javonte.
I'm telling you what, he got way better. I mean, he got bigger. I don't think he's as twitchy as he used to be, but he is way better than he was last year. I mean, he had 7 tackles, pressures. He played
a heck of a game.
Yeah,
I mean, he was a lot more physical than I ever thought he was. I always thought he was kind of a pretty edge rusher only.
Yeah,
he was really good against the run. I mean, he took on blocks and. I was really impressed.
He almost won the game there, literally.
I mean,
an inch. It's an inch, man. It's like an inch from Buckeye Scoop being an absolute miserable. Oh my god, experience to being great.
The key to college football, I've always felt, is you can't get that second loss. You cannot get your second loss, and the best way to not get the second loss is don't get the first one. So. And I'm serious. Like, it doesn't matter that they won this game by 1 yard. It doesn't matter. They're undefeated. And with their schedule at Notre Dame, at Wisconsin, Penn State, who's really good, then at Michigan, who's ranked number 2 somehow. I don't buy it, but they are. You finish 11-1 with this schedule, you are in. You are absolutely 1,000% in with this schedule. It's a very hard schedule, in my opinion. So that was such a huge win to keep the undefeated, to stay away from that second loss. You don't get the first one, you're going to get the second one. That's the best part of this. And seeing how, in my opinion, Kyle McCord was a different human in that final drive than what he was for
the rest of the game.
Minutes.
Yep.
That was a different dude, man. That dude. Yeah. I mean, go back, and we could go back and watch all those throws he made. He had to complete a 4th down pass to a covered Julian Fleming, and that pass had to be perfect. The pass that he threw into the 1 yard line, I think that was that a 2nd and 15, I think.
Yeah, it was something. It was a long one.
There was a grounding call. The grounding call was a killer.
Yeah.
And if Ryan Day, if Ryan Day doesn't save that timeout, which he didn't do it for this, but the grounding call, that's an automatic 10-second runoff, would have taken it from 15 to 5. Then you only get one play.
Yeah.
Now, I thought Ryan should have called that timeout on defense about an hour before that. But saved him. It allowed him to get 2 plays instead of 1. Everything worked out for Ohio State. It worked out perfect, and you take your win, you move on, and one big game down. You got 4 big games, the way I looked at it this year. 4 losable games. You got 1 down, 3 to go.
You got Wisconsin, Penn State.
1. You can lose 1. You can't lose 2. Because an 11-1 Ohio State team with this brutal schedule, that I think it is brutal. Look at Georgia if you want to see Cupcake City. Ooh, this is a nasty schedule. 11-1 puts them in. Plus, I don't think there's going to be many undefeated teams, if any. There's parity now, man. There's a lot of parity all over college football. And it's NIL, it's transfer portal.
It's the portal, yep.
The big teams don't have the depth that they had, and the little guys are raising up. So it's almost like NFL, where Houston can go blow out Jacksonville on their field. Yeah, it's crazy in college football right now, man. So it's not like when even 6-7 years ago, you would automatically do your preseason preview and you'd pick Bama, Ohio State, Clemson, and Oklahoma to be in the Final Four.
Yep,
you'd be right every time. It was a rigged game. The bottom teams had no chance. Yeah. You saw last year TCU made it. And this year, just come in at undefeated or 1 loss and state your case. Yeah. Yeah. It's not, the power is not, there's not the gap that there used to be between Bama and the rest of the dudes. That gap isn't there. The gap from Ohio State coming back, I don't think is as big as it was when we've seen it against Michigan the past couple of years. So find a way to go 12-0 or 11-1 and state your case, which Ohio State can state a great case for the playoffs with their schedule. 3 big road games, man. That's a nasty schedule.
It is. Now, speaking of nasty schedules, I think Notre Dame's is even worse. And if I was Marcus Freeman, I don't want to shoot this athletic director into the sun, because these guys, again, let's just put on our we're in the time machine. We're going forward in 3 months. How good of a win does this look? Because again, in 2006, we beat the Texas Longhorns, 1-2 game. They were number 1 in the country down in Austin. Fast forward to bowl season, they're like 7-5. So at the time, biggest win, 1-2 game, whatever. Then you fast forward to the end of the year, they've got like 4 or 5 losses, maybe 4 losses, something like that. But it wasn't.
It's still going to look good. I think it's still going to look like a good win, even if Notre Dame does lose 3 or 4. Which I'm not sure they're going to. I think they're good. I think Notre Dame is really good. If you look at the yardage, if you look at the time of possession, if you look at the score, this was a dead even freaking game. Yeah. It was decided by this much on the last play of the game. Yeah. It wasn't like, we turned it over 5 times. We're 100 times better than them. No, there were no turnovers. The yardage is even. The 2 downs, the 3rd down this was a dead even game. I think Notre Dame is really good, and I think Ohio State is going to get a lot out of this. It's a nice win, man. It's a heck of a win. When you get to the end of the year and everybody's presenting their cases as an 11-1 team, they got a great case. Yeah. I can't believe there could be a better 11-1 team than Ohio State, and you're not going to get 4 undefeated teams, so you have no worry there. Yeah. Just don't lose 2. Don't lose 2, and then bring your resume to the committee. Yeah.
No, I agree. I look at this Notre Dame schedule, man. They got to go to Duke with Mike Elko, who's physical. He's like physical.
Now wait a minute, that's this week. They don't get a bye.
And they've already played they played 5 games already. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they've already played 5.
They played in week 0.
Yeah, and so they got to go to Duke, night game, to Louisville, night game, and then they get to come home and play Southern Cal. So
Clemson's in there too. Clemson's in there somewhere.
Well, yeah. Then they finally get a bye week, and then they have to play Pitt, and then they have to go to Clemson. That is they got 4 straight night games. I'm like, who did that to these poor guys?
See, I think even if they end up 7-5, 8-4. I think the committee is still going to know that was a good football team that got murdered by their athletic director.
Oh my
that's
God.
a bad schedule. That's a bad schedule all the way around. That's a bad schedule, even if you think Duke sucks, which he probably did when he made that schedule.
Yeah.
Duke is horrible. That's still a tough schedule. Duke isn't horrible. Believe me, Duke is not horrible. Duke's really good.
They're hosting College Game Day for the first time ever this week. The first time in Game Day's been around for 30 years, and this is the first time because Mike Elko is a tough dude, and he'll be at A&M or he'll be at one of the big ones at one of the factories soon.
Time's coming. Yeah, Mike Elko's great. Notre Dame, they got to get off that deck now. I mean, there's no healing time for them. So. I do think at the end of the day that I think the committee's smart enough to see that this Notre Dame team, that's a butcher of a schedule.
Yeah.
You can't compare, because if you look at Georgia's schedule, I looked at that Georgia schedule, man, it's like an embarrassment almost. That's how you get break. They're going to get the benefit of the doubt because they're 2-time national champions and they want them in there. They're going to want Georgia in there to go for that break.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, to sum it up, man, it's a great win, and it's a horrible loss when it's by 1 yard on the last play of the game, man. Somebody's heart is ripped out and laying on the ground, and the other dudes, man, are sky high. No. I almost wish Ohio State didn't have a bye this week, but maybe it's good for Harrison, and that was such a physical game that maybe maybe this is a good time. I thought it was a little early for a bye week. But that was one physical football game, man.
Yeah,
that was a head knocker. That wasn't 7-on-7 there.
No,
that was old time. That was 1990s football there.
Yeah.
So
see, I think it might be a little early for the bye, but I also think it's a good time for the staff to go out on the road and wear the colors and walk through the high schools. And hey, did you watch the game, the highest rated game in the history of NBC football, and see the old Bucks win? And I said, Marcus and Al Washington like a Christmas ham and say thanks for leaving 10. Thanks for leaving that end on the sideline for that last play. That's great.
How about Al walking in those high schools today and some 15-year-old kid asks him, "What the hell are you doing playing with 10? What are you doing?"
Oh man, you
need to come to Notre Dame and play for us, dude. You couldn't even get 11 guys on the field. Why would I go there?
I don't know how you look at Sam Hartman and Joe Alt and these guys that left it all on the field, and they're like, we didn't have a guy on the field for the last few plays. And again, I know you win as a team and lose as a team, but at least do it like fair,
Go down shooting your shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like Chris.
It's inexcusable. I've never seen it before. Maybe it's happened before. I don't know, but I've never seen it, especially back-to-back plays when there's a stoppage in play. There was a stoppage in between 3rd and 4th down. You could have subbed 11 for 11. You could have went wholesale.
Yeah.
And they were going to stop. The ref was going to stop play, let you sub.
Yeah.
It wasn't that Ohio State went hurry up on you and you couldn't get your guy in. No, it was a stoppage in play. Ohio State subbed. So you're allowed to sub. It's inexcusable. It's just that. And I don't know if it's Marcus's fault, but yet when you're sitting in big boy chair, it's your fault.
Yeah, because that's the guy you hired. It's Al Washington's fault, but you hired Al Washington. But to me, when it's bad. Here's the worst: when you're coming out of a timeout, if you don't have 11 on the field, that's bad. So then you run a play, and here's the thing: Ohio State didn't go hurry up to get to the line. And hey, don't sub. They literally subbed and said, okay, hey, they're probably going to bring an end in. So again, I know that there's a thought, well, maybe Ryan saw that they only had 10, but as soon as you sub,
I give too much credit.
I
don't know if McCord audible it. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I know somebody won and somebody lost, and that's at the end of the day.
I think Ryan Day in the timeout, I bet my house, he said, all right, we're going to throw it to Marv first, and then we're going to run the dive from the 1 yard line and do the Mickey Marotti. We're tougher than them. And because that's why Tony put Chip in. He's like, I'm going to put in my 230-pound bull to get 1 yard over Trey or mine or anybody else. Because Chip, if he gets up to speed, he's like a hammer, with legs.
Well, I think Mayan might be a little bit more physical, but Mayan's going to take longer to get going.
Yes.
It allows the crashers to get there quicker.
Oh,
and I would have ran Trey, but yet it worked. So,
Yeah.
but hey, it worked. It worked. I mean, and can't
All
change
right.
it. 17-14. It's in the books. It'll never change.
That's
See
right.
forever.
The stadium lights are turned off and it's good to go. So,
I can only, the final thought is the Notre Dame athletic director and that group of people, what are they thinking right now about Marcus? Because Marcus is recruiting well, but you gave him last year because it's learning process, young head coach first, but you can't give him 2-3. You don't get to learn for 2 or 3 years. You kind of got to figure it out after the first year. And that was so much coaching. We could do another show on their final offensive possession, Notre Dame's, when I was seriously thinking they were going to run it out.
Every snap, hand it off.
They're going to run estimate right at them, and they're never going to give the ball up. But instead, they run that zone read with Sam Hartman. That's not his gig. Then you got to come back and try to run the screen pass where you save Ryan Day's timeout with an incompletion. It was just that was a jacked up series. And I mean, we could do a whole show on that. I mean, that was more coaching malpractice. You're running the ball right through them. Yeah. Ohio State's gassed on defense. They're gassed, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, but you don't get to redo them. It's kind of like my golf shot going in the water. That ball's in the water. It ain't coming back.
Yeah. I mean, it's thankfully you didn't have, 50 million people watching that golf shot,
Take the W and move on.
Absolutely.
But I just wonder if things fall apart this year for Notre Dame and they do lose 3, 4, 5 with all that talent they got, and they're good. Then I wonder, what do they do with Marcus? And I love Marcus. I'm telling you right now, I know him. He's awesome. He's the best. And you are what your record says you are, though. It's a business. It's a multi-million-dollar business. It has nothing to do with personalities. Yeah. Marcus is the best. But that was coaching, man. I would love to talk to Urban. That's what I would love to do. I would love to talk to Urban about what he saw that night. Or, an older coach that's maybe out of the game that's done it for years. I would love to ask them. And they probably wouldn't go on the record and say, because Marcus is awesome. But yet, behind closed doors, they would have to be thinking that was one of the worst coach games they'd ever seen. In the end, when it's winning time, it's money time.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how you could be short a D end coming out of a timeout. You come out of a timeout and then you have a play, and Ohio State took the whole play clock. They took 40 seconds, like almost to snap the ball. So it's like, and they never knew. They never caught it. Like if you're Al,
Ohio State sub chip for Trey, which gives Notre Dame they got a lot of time to serve.
Yeah, they get all the time in the world. That referee gets to stand over, that umpire stand over that ball until Notre Dame can match subs, and nobody caught it. And again, like the starting, like Notre Dame, like if I'm the starting defensive end, if I'm whoever's the other guy opposite Javante, I'm like, guys, we don't have another guy in. Guys, like, I mean, this is goal line. Like this isn't nickel 3 down 3-3-5. This is like 4 down. So.
No, you're not going to a nickel there or a dime. You're not doing
it. No, you're getting as many big guys as you can.
Use sport. And if it happened at the lower level of high school, somebody be getting their butt ripped for that, let alone Notre Dame, Ohio State. If it happens at East Canton or Louisville, somebody's getting ripped. Somebody getting ripped.
Oh,
that can't happen.
Yeah, I mean, if you do that with Keith Wakefield, man, it'd be lights out.
And it
be the end of days.
Should be lights out.
Yeah. But when you've got 1,000 coaches on the staff and 50 guys up in the booth, man, I don't know. Too many guys are just watching the game. They're not coaching.
Sad.
All right. Well,
we will. Ryan is not sad.
No.
Holt might be sad, but Ryan Day's not sad.
What did you think of the
explosion at the end?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, what did you think of that? Was that great? Weird, like all over the place?
I don't think it was planned. I I saw Urban do this one time, kind of when I was in Florida. I was at Florida. They played Arkansas. They should have lost, and they pulled it out. And Urban kind of did that, and I thought it was canned and phony and fake. I don't think this was fake by Ryan Day. I think it was such an emotional game, such an emotional win. I think he's a guy that wears his heart on his sleeve. I think he's a guy that reads everything. I think he's a guy that listens to everything.
We know he reads everything.
I think he does. So, I mean, I think it just came out. And it was, for Holtz to say what he said, he's 86 years old. Probably shouldn't have. But, I mean, and then, Ryan Day said, hey, we've only had one bad half the last 2 years. And I'm like, wait a minute, dude. Were you at the Oregon game, or were you home with the flu that day? Now, what about you've had two Michigan games now, not just one bad half.
Georgia.
He was excited. He was fired up. He's defending his dudes, and I'm sure the kids loved it. When the kids watch, you were a player. You watch that the next day. Your guy's out there fighting. Yeah. So. I thought it was probably the right thing to do at the moment. That dude was on fire. Them rosy red cheeks, man. Oh, yeah. They were like a different shade of red than you normally see. He was fired up. I was okay with it. I was okay with it.
Do you think
from the heart,
Yeah. Do you think it makes him more of a target to national? Because I've seen a lot of national media people, Dan Patrick, like pushing back on it and saying how it was whatever. Like, do you think that people are like, oh, you can rattle the cage of Ryan Day easy, so you're going to see more of it? I'm just asking.
I don't think. I think it was just like a culmination of Michigan game last year, Michigan game the year before, and I think that Holtz comment stuck with him.
Yeah.
And there is supposed to be sort of a code of honor among coaches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're a fraternity. They're a brotherhood. Even if I'm on this side and you're on that side, I think there's a brotherhood there. And I kind of felt like maybe Ryan Day felt like Lou Holtz violated the code. So, I'm coming back at you.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was planned. I don't think it was canned. I don't think he thought like Friday morning, well, if we win this game, I'm going to kill that guy. I think it just exploded out of him. And I think Ryan, I don't know him. So I'm not going to sit here and say that we're buddies. I don't know Ryan Day. Talked to him a few times. I don't know him. But I think he's a guy that wears his heart on his sleeve. I don't think he planned that. I think it just exploded out, man. I was waiting for him to drop like an F-bomb or something because, man, the dude was fired up. I mean, dude was rolling.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, give him the microphone, get out of his way. Dude's rolling.
I loved it.
I like Ryan Day, and I know you texted with him after the game and everything.
Yeah,
he's good. He's a good dude, and if it had been Nick Saban doing that, you kind of think, oh, he planned that. He's had that plan for 24 hours. Kirby Smart, I can see doing that. Urban absolutely would do that. I think it came right from the heart from Ryan Day. I don't think it was a planned thing. Dude cares about his kids, man. He cares. I mean,
and I'm telling you, man, if I'm one of his players and he says that, like, I love that. Because I mean, these kids get beat to death about being a soft team because they gave up 80 points against Michigan and Georgia and 80 points against Michigan the year before and ran all over them. And I mean, they hear that from everybody. They could go in the Chipotle line ordering a burrito and they'd be like, didn't you give up 42 or 45 against Georgia and you guys can't make a field goal and you guys gave up
scored 18 to 3 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you guys gave up 600 yards. You guys gave up 600 yards rushing against Michigan the last 2 years. You sure you want sour cream on that quesadilla? So it's like, so when Ryan can just swing the bat as hard as he can at Lou Holtz's head and hit it out into the stratosphere. It's just like,
I thought it was okay. I really thought it was okay. I don't think there's going to be any blowback or payback for Ryan Day. I mean, if Ohio State comes in at 11-1, give them a loss somewhere. With that schedule, I think they're fine. Because there's not going to be 4 undefeated teams this year. There may not be one at the end of the year. I won't be surprised if there are no undefeated teams, and an Ohio State 11-1 resume will match anyone's.
All right, so I got
quality road wins, and I know we've probably gone long here, but
we're good. I got one last thing I want to ask you. Out of the 3 mega challenges that we got left, at Wisconsin night game, Penn State at home, Ann Arbor noon game, obviously, senior day insanity, that's a towering cauldron. Rank the hardest one down to the lowest one. What's the hard? Give me the one that you're the most confident that Ohio State can win, all the way up to the towering inferno.
You're gonna laugh. I think that Wisconsin game is nasty. You
think that's number one?
Man, it might be
hardest.
I mean, you got the Ohio State schedule in front of you.
Let me look. I'll pull it up.
Look when it falls.
I've seen it. I look at that every year. I'm like,
There's no game. Who they got the week after Wisconsin?
Oh God, is it Penn State?
You better believe it.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
So,
wow.
Wisconsin sucks. They're not any good.
So they have Penn State on the 21st, and then they go to Wisconsin.
Oh, Wisconsin's the next one. Oh, I thought.
Yes. So they got the Penn State's probably gonna be a night game on October 21st.
Or maybe it's because I was thinking they beat Penn State. They're number 1 in the country. Everybody's telling them how great they are. Wisconsin's got 2 losses. They suck. That's what I was thinking. I knew the schedule was a quirk there, and then Luke will cut off body parts to win that game.
Oh God, he'll sell one of his 75 kids. I'm telling you.
Absolutely. So that's where I knew that game was trappish. I didn't know how the trap set. Now, that's the trap is you beat Penn State easily at home, number 1 in the country. You're the best. They win another October national title, and then you go up there, and there ain't no fun place to play. You know what it's like.
Oh, it's brutal. And then you got.
What do they do well up there? They got the best power running back in America. That Braylon Allen, Luke will run him 50 times. And if you can't stop Estime, good luck stopping Braylon Allen. And he's got a quarterback that can throw. Now, they haven't put it all together yet, although they were really good last week. They were really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd worry about that one. I think they're going to beat Michigan. I just think there's troubles. There's issues at Michigan. And I can't say any more because I'll get in trouble. But I think there's issues. And Penn State, I worry about the Penn State game too. They're good. They're really good. Now, they do have James Franklin as a coach. And I like James. I know him. I like him. Man, I'm not putting my grandkids on him winning a big game, but sometimes it happens, They're good defensively. They got a quarterback that can sling it. They got those 2 running backs, And I'm going to guarantee you this year, they're not going to throw 3 balls to JTT this year. He ain't getting 3 picks in this game. So I think it's a challenging schedule. I really do. And this is not the typical Ohio State team. This is not a Ryan Day 7-on-7 team that can get into shootouts. I don't think this team can win shootouts. Where in the past,
I agree because
this ain't that kind of team. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on this defense. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, can't give up a lot of points. But hey, we're getting ahead of ourselves. It's bye week, undefeated, and there's no sense running up to those games because those games are a way off. And enjoy it because it hurts when you lose. Go on, go on 24/7 and go dial up that Notre Dame site and see how that thing's percolating right now.
Cancellations on the memberships, baby. I know how that feels. So
it ain't pretty.
We're gonna wrap this thing up. Appreciate you, Bank. You're the best.
All right, man.
Talk to you, bro. All right, we had Bill the Bank Greene wrapping this show up as always. Thank you guys for tuning in. A lot to break down, a lot of good stuff. Thank you guys as always. If you enjoy this, please leave us a like, click subscribe, and also click the little alert bell. I want to know, what do you think? I want to hear from you in the comments. Who's the toughest game left for Ohio State? I mean, to me, it's always Michigan. But do you think Penn State, just because they're rated high, they might have a better quarterback? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave those in the comments and shout out where you guys are watching from, as always. Appreciate you guys always tuning in. Thank you so much. We've been breaking records day over day. So appreciate you enjoying this podcast. So with that being said, thank you so much, Buckeye Nation. Thank you, Scoop family. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Go Bucks.